I followed a speaker who was a writer for Saturday Night Live. And here I come in with, now we're going to talk about files and folders. Hey everybody, welcome back to Ask Me Anything with me, Geralin Thomas. Today's question is from Chelsea. Chelsea says, I'd like to start speaking at conferences and events. Can you tell me how to calculate my fee and share any other pointers you've learned? Okay, Chelsea, I'm going to share what I do and my mathematical formula for this. So every 60-minute presentation takes me approximately 1 hour of email correspondence back and forth with the event planner and the session moderator. You will have to turn in some type of bio, headshot. There's a little bit of stuff that you're back and forthing with emails. I have a blog post written if you're interested. I'll link in the notes below about writing your intro so that the moderator doesn't have to do too much homework and they're going to talk about what you want them to talk about in your introduction. 1 hour for that. About 35 hours it takes me to prepare one 60-minute talk. That includes research and design and all that good stuff, so it's a lot of time. I usually practice a 1 hour talk about 5 times, so that's 5 hours. If I'm traveling on an airplane, I usually build in 5 to 10 hours, and that includes wait time at the airport. And then if I'm being asked to stay at the conference, let's say it's a 2-day conference, and they ask me to stay and mix and mingle and join people for dinner and all that, that's automatically 16 hours, 2 8-hour days that you are off limits to your clients and not earning money. One of the things you're asking is, I think you want to know how to get paid, how much to earn. And I'll tell you, this is not like a hook you, but this is more of a one-on-one coaching call rather than discussing this. So it depends on how often you've spoken before, the level of experience, where you're speaking. There's just so many things that it would be a lot to put in a video. But I will share with you that some of the questions that you can ask if they don't volunteer, you'll be paid this amount of money for this event, are you available? That's usually not how the conversation goes. So I made a list of questions that you might want to ask. First thing that I like to say is, could you tell me a little bit more about the event? How many attendees are expected, right? So you don't know if you're talking to a crowd of 20 or a crowd of 1,000. Good to know in advance. How much are tickets to that event? In my mind, that kind of helps me start formulating some amount to charge. Where is this being advertised? If they tell me it's only in their newsletter or it's a private event, and then I ask the circulation of that newsletter, and it could be gigantic, right? Our newsletter is distributed to 14,000 people. I'm like, ooh, that's good. If they tell me, it's 200 people, not so great. But when you're starting, 200 is 200 more than you would have been exposed to otherwise. How many speakers are there? I made this mistake in the early part of my speaking career. I just assumed I would be the only speaker. I didn't ask the right questions. I show up and it's like, 5 speakers in a row. And this is a true story, I followed a speaker who was a writer for Saturday Night Live. Not a great idea. He had everybody rip-rolling, slapping their knees, ha ha ho ho. And here I come in with, now we're going to talk about files and folders. I mean, it was a disaster, so I wish I'd known that. So find out how many speakers and who's preceding you. Are the sessions being recorded? Charge more if they're recording for your session. Again, coaching call. Do you have a budget for speakers? This is my nice way. I don't kick off my conversation with how much are you paying me. I like to kind of gently work it in there. Would you like me to speak on a topic that I've spoken on before? I already have something created. Or are you asking me to present to this particular group with brand new, never been heard topic? Because then I have to create not only the content and do the research, but I also have to create a slide deck or a handout that's never been seen by any other eyes before. it's time consuming. And are there any pre or post conference events for you to consider? Again, that's more of a coaching call, but it might be, we expect you to be at dinner at 8 p.m. the night before, or we expect you to show up, if it's a Disney World, riding something, smiling, shaking hands, and all that good stuff. So something like that. I've created a kit so that you don't make the same mistakes I do. It's $9.99. It's super affordable. It's 10 pages, and it will give you all the information you need to be a well-prepared speaker to have these conversations with people as you're negotiating your contracts. I also don't want to discourage you from participating in free talks. I do still specific number of pro bono events a year, but when those are done, those are done. And I think having a policy in place makes this a much easier thing to say no to when people come to me. So I hope these tips help you, and good luck in your public speaking event. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it.